Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Rain Reviews. Although this time we're not really going to be doing a review, instead we're going to be doing more of a preview. So here we have UFC 266. We're going to be talking about these larger UFC events, not all UFC events, but the bigger ones, the ones that capture my attention at least, and in this case, this one does. And if you're aware of this fight card, then you probably know where I'm headed with this. So here we're going to be giving a breakdown of each fight that I'm interested in anyways, more or less, and we're going to give an official fight prediction of who I think is going to win, how I think it's going to happen for these fights that I'm taking particular interest in. And after the event tomorrow, you'll probably see in this video, you know, I'm making this video a day prior, but you probably won't see it uploaded until tomorrow because it'll take that long. But anyways, we'll do a post-fight breakdown and actually review the event itself. And so that'll be back to our regular scheduled Rain reviews. And I will be reviewing UFC 266. So this is kind of a pre, and we'll make a second video on a post. But anyways, we got your UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega. This one's difficult for me already because I don't believe in Volkanovski as a champion. You know, I think that it was pretty clear, and most people think so as well, that Volkanovski didn't win that fight against Max Holloway. Max Holloway beat him up, in my opinion. I think he completely outclassed him. He outskilled him completely. He was faster than him. He fought better than him and performed better than him in every aspect of the fight, in my opinion. I'd have to rewatch it to really break down exactly why I think this, but in general, he won the fight, and it was pretty clear to me. Don't know how they gave it the decision victory to Volkanovski. I mean, at that point, it's like not even about, oh, don't leave it in the judge's hand. It's like, no, maybe we should meet those judges outside after this event to change their mind. You know what I mean? Because this is a load, and they really do need to implement something like that, some way to overturn these decisions. Sometimes, I mean, there should be something in place that can overturn some of these decisions somehow. I don't know. Why Ortega is even his opponent is weird to me. It's like, I mean, I guess Ortega is ranked high enough for this to happen. Let's see. Brian Ortega is, let's take a look at him. Yeah, he's ranked 2 in his division. Let's see if we can get to their division to see who's all in this division. I'm not too ecstatic about this fight. This is the main event of this card, and this is probably one of the fights that I'm least interested in. What did I click on? Right, so Holloway at the number 1 contender, Ortega. Yair Rodriguez. I understand why they wouldn't put Yair there. As far as I know, he hasn't been that active. I thought Chang Sung Jung won his last fight with a knockout. I'm not sure. Calvin Kattar. Barboza looked good in his last fight, no? I don't know. I mean, I get that you already fought Max twice and you need somebody else, but I don't know. I mean, who did Ortega even beat to get here, though? You know? Like, what did I miss? Because I clearly missed something. Okay, so he beat Chang Sung Jung in decision. And then, of course, Max lost to Holloway, and somehow he gets a shot at Holloway's belt, and we're leaving it there. And he beat Edgar last, and Okay, I mean, I guess you beat Chang Sung Jung. That was probably the fight that would have given Chang Sung Jung the opportunity at the belt. So I guess if you beat him, then that's what happens. Okay, I think this one is an easy decision. If you're a betting guy, I know they're your UFC sponsored by DraftKings. If you're a betting guy, I can go ahead and tell you where to put your money at, and it's an easy one. It's Alexander Volkanovski for the win. How he's going to win? No idea. I don't see it going by submission just because I feel like Ortega's too dangerous on the ground for all of that. And the idea that, or word on the street is that Ortega is pretty well conditioned and ready for this fight. And so his cardio wouldn't be an issue. If his cardio was an issue, I could see him getting beaten up a little bit and eventually, doing essentially what or Volkanovski doing essentially what Diaz did to McGregor in their first fight, just kind of exhausting and beating him up and then getting in a easy choke or something like that. But because his endurance is up, I think that he'll be just fine. I really don't see it being a knockout or anything like that. I think decision to Volkanovski, but this is the fight game. There's no way to predict exactly how any of this is going to happen. It could easily be a knockout from either side. I think both of them have the ability to knock the other out. If, one person makes a wrong move while their opponent makes a right move, that can happen. But this is an easy decision for me. I say Volkanovski is going to win this one for sure. Or maybe you think my predictions are BS and you bet against me every time. Hey, you might come out on top like that. I don't know. We'll find out in the post review. The next fight you got up here is the co-main event, being Valentina Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy. Now, no offense to Lauren Murphy, I'm not super familiar, but ordinarily, and maybe I'm wrong for this, but it seems like I'm not, because if you look at Valentina's fight record, it seems to be that my take on this is correct, and that they're really just finding somebody for Shevchenko to fight. They're just feeding lambs to the slaughter at this point. I mean, again, no offense, because, a lot of people probably thought that Ronda Rousey was just going to run over Holly Holm, and look what happened, right? Which, I thought that Holly could beat Ronda, so I didn't think that she was getting led to the slaughter. I actually believed in Holly Holm long before she ever fought Ronda. That it was, I thought it was either her. I thought it would be Holly Holm or Chris Cyborg to beat Ronda, and it ended up being Holly Holm. Anyways, I think this one's another easy pick. Valentina Shevchenko wins this fight. She's supposed to win this fight. Again, it's a fight game. Anything can happen, but Shevchenko wins this fight. I think by TKO, perhaps in round 4. I say round 4, TKO. But either way, regardless of how she wins, I think that Shevchenko wins this fight pretty easily. If not 4th round stoppage of submission or TKO, then it'll definitely be by unanimous decision. And then this be the reason here that everyone should be excited for this fight, I think, or for this card, is Nick Diaz versus Robby Lawler. It's the return of Nick Diaz. Now, this fight already has quite a bit of controversy behind it, with Nick Diaz having within, I think it was like 72 hours of the fight, deciding to change the fight from what I think they were set to fight at 170 pounds. And within 72 hours of the fight, he decides, hey, you remember how it was 170 pounds? Yeah, well, instead, I want to fight at 185. And so now Robbie's kind of has to just agree with this. Now, why do I say he has to agree with it? Well, let me preface it by saying I think Robby Lawler, being a guy that's cut from the cloth of old school guys to a degree, he's more so of the older generation than he is this newer generation of UFC fighters, yeah. And with that being said, they're there to entertain rather than to get wins or be so focused on getting the belt or losses. Like, the belt is really just a spectacle for the old school fighters. It's not so much the goal. Like, they make it like it's the goal because it gives a story, but the reality is, fighters like Nick Diaz, fighters like Robby Lawler and Anderson Silva, etc., these old school sort of pioneers of the sport, they fought to entertain. It wasn't about, oh, I'm already winning the fight, I'm just going to go in here in the 5th round and fight a safe round. No, they'll go in there and they'll still try to get the knockout in the 5th round. That's what they do. And with that being said, there's the show must go on mentality whenever it comes to these veterans, and so I think Robbie Lawler would have done it anyways. And that being said, as well as that, Robbie Lawler, I mean, he's ruthless. That's his name, Ruthless Robby Lawler. He's a brawler, he's going to get in there. He wants to throw down. It's what he does. So it's in his DNA to want to do this. I don't think a 15 pounds heavier Nick Diaz is going to make him think, well, that whole rampage I was in on, I think I'm going to turn that into a tiptoe now. Like, no, this is what he does. This is what he wants to do. It's in his DNA. He's going to come forward and do what the fuck he does. Do what he does. I don't think that would have changed. It could have been Israel Adesanya. Izzy agrees to fight Robbie Lawler at 170 and then all of a sudden changes to 185. Robbie would have been down. And I tried to think of it like, oh, well, maybe that's because it's a star and Nick Diaz is a star and Israel Adesanya is a star. So, of course, he would change it for him. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, what if a no-name said that? Or whoever the UFC set Robbie Lawler up to fight, I think he would still do it. Just because that's the kind of guy he seems to be. However, he almost has no choice at the same time. So Nick is coming in as, what people would refer to as the A side of the fight, meaning he has leverage. He's the fighter that people are coming to see. He's the reason that people are buying the ticket. And so if he says, well, instead of, these gloves, I want to use these gloves, and instead of the blue corner, I want the red corner, he'd get that. It's pretty much, hey, this is what I want to do. If you don't want to do it, we'll find somebody else. So it's really like take it or leave it. It's like, I'm asking you, but I'm telling you that we're doing it at 185, and Robbie has no way to get out of it. He kind of has to agree. It's either that or get replaced by, I guess that's the reason why Dan Hooker was there. I don't know. But Dean Thomas said it best. I mean, he went into a long description about it, but ultimately he was saying, it's not fair, because in reality, you do something like that. Oh, look, man, I can't make 185. Oh, cool. You're supposed to give up a percentage of your pay. You're supposed to give a percentage of your pay. And we know that Nick is going to get paid more than Robbie for this fight. So that's just the only thing. That's the only thing that gets me about it. Is like, okay, cool. You can't make weight. I think it would have been more fair to do it at a catch weight. Still try to make weight. But hey, you couldn't make weight. I think that you should try to get down to this weight. And if you can't, you can't. It is what it is. But the rules are the rules, and the rules say that I get a percentage, and that's just the only way to do things and make it just. Like, it's already messed up, but if you're going to make it just, then you give up a percentage of your pay to Robbie Lawler, and then it's cool. Robbie agreed to the fight, and under those circumstances, he knew that would be the case. He could always back out if he wanted to. He's going to get his show money. But the thing is, like, he's being told ahead of time, right? So Nick is telling him ahead of time, hey, I'm not going to be able to make 185. Do you want to do, or I'm not going to be able to make 170. Do you want to do the fight at 185? At that rate, if he's like, no, I can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, Nick's like, hey, Dana, find me a replacement. And I'm just saying hypothetically. I don't know where either of their head is. I'm just saying hypothetically. But if that's the case, then Robbie hasn't shown up, so there's no show money. So he's SOL. Anyways, it's a little bit wild. So they're fighting at 185. Robbie being a much smaller dude, going up against a much taller dude. Here, Nick Diaz. Nick has never been a huge 185er though, but the reality is he's long, and at the end of the day, he still weighs that, and he's always been able to comfortably make that. He's never like been a guy that's consistently coming in underweight or anything like that. He even came in at 185 and a half, I believe, in the weigh-ins. And here, the fight that I'm actually I forgot to give a prediction. I think this one's pretty, well, excuse me. The idea, there's some rumors, there's some footage going around of Nick Diaz getting knocked out in training camp prior to this. So he's probably fighting some guys that are similar to Robbie Lawler's style. And that's what happened. He got caught. I'm not sure what that says about the fight, other than that what did the knockout do to him that could change things. But honestly, I think that Nick is too good of a fighter. Having a weight advantage, having a reach advantage, being out of the sport for so long and allowing any injuries he has to recover, and being as good of a fighter he is, I think it's an easy fight for him, more or less. So I don't want to count Robbie Lawler out just because he looked so strong and powerful against Ben Askren that it's hard to count him out. But I think Diaz, with the level of skill that he has, the level of endurance that he has, and having the reach and height advantage, it's a bit unfair, and I think that he wins the fight. I'm not sure how. I mean, if he knocks him out, I think everybody's just gonna hang their head. So I got Diaz by decision in that one. The fight that I'm actually most interested in is Curtis Blaydes versus Rozenstruik. This is going to be a banger. I've wanted to see this fight for a while. I'm always down to see Curtis Blaydes take on one of these higher ranked or more exciting fighters, because Curtis Blaydes is a very, no pun intended, is a very sharp striker. He's good at jiu-jitsu. He's powerful. He's got decent wrestling. I love to see Curtis Blaydes fight, and I'm always interested in it. It's just such a shame that you see Curtis Blaydes fight, and it seems like he can really beat almost any heavyweight. And then he fights Francis, and he just gets hit with the shot. He gets caught with the shot every time. It's crazy. He seems like he's so ready to beat Francis, and then he gets caught. So I think Curtis, this fight is particularly as interesting because of that. Curtis is clearly susceptible to knockout artists, and here he is fighting a knockout artist. Rozenstruik he's been laying guys out, but Curtis has been at the top for a while now, and so I think him being seasoned and sharp and knowing every nook and cranny of the cage like he does, I think that Curtis will get the win. But that's me betting against history, when I know Curtis has an issue with knockout artists. However, I'm hoping that he's learned. I'm hoping that he's grown. He seems like a pretty cerebral dude, and I would like to see him overcome this and, be able to get inside against these heavy strikers, or at least find some method of winning over a knockout artist, and hopefully that can help translate over to fighting Ngannou in the future. He can pick up something from this fight and learn something from the camp leading up to it. I got Curtis Blaydes by decision as well. Damn, I'm over here betting on no knockouts. Like, you really believe there's no knockouts happening in this main card? I don't, but I've bet on decision everywhere except for Shevchenko perhaps getting a decision or a 4th round TKO. That's crazy. There's almost certain to be a knockout somewhere in here, especially with this last fight here on the main card, Andrade versus Calvillo. I got Andrade here. She's one of those girls who are freakishly strong. She almost has like that dude strength. Yeah, I got Andrade in here. I don't think that she, considering her last couple of fights, win or lose, I think that she's just at a level where she's gonna refuse to fall any further. Like, she'll lose to the Nama Yunez, or maybe even Joanna could take the dub, and some of these top 5 girls, but I don't think that she's gonna fall to this level here. But Cynthia Calvillo is rank 5, so it's kind of like maybe the very distant, the edge of how far her skill is willing to allow her to fall. But I think that there's something in a person, she still has a condition as a fighter, and with her past experiences and the type of condition that she's still in, and she's in good shape and all that, I think that the mentality of someone there isn't going to let themselves fall from grace that quickly. Just from being a champion all the way to being bumped out of the top 5, I just don't see it, So I got Andrade. Even if she has to sacrifice her health, she'll come forward with that power and do what she has to do to get the win. So it looks like I'm betting on everybody on the left. I don't think I'm particularly interested in any prelims fights. Marlon Moraes is my guy. I'm going to be watching this fight. I hope to see him in better shape than I have seen him in the past. Dan Hooker. That's why Dan was here. I saw an interview of Dan Hooker showing up talking about his fight. I didn't even know he was on this card till I seen an interview. So Dan Hooker will be fighting. I'm betting on both of these guys. I like both of them, Dan Hooker and Marlon Moraes. I'll bet on both of them. But anyways, I wanted to just thank you guys real quick for watching, for clicking on the video. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video. That's what the like button is for, is whenever you like the video. So like the video with the like button. You know about the like button, right? Anyways, so like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. That's what the subscription button is for. You subscribe to it, you see, and it helps me out in the algorithm, and you can see more of my videos in the future. And comment down below who you think's gonna win, or if you think I'm tripping about Volkanovski being a paper champion, even though he is. You're free to disagree, incorrectly disagree, but you can disagree if you want. And I will see you guys for the post-fight analysis. Video will probably be up late Sunday. Sunday's football, so there's no telling what time I'll get it up, but there will be a post-fight analysis Sunday or Monday, and we can talk about how wrong or right I am and what happened in the fight. Anyways, thank you guys again. See you guys very soon. Later. KK.